When she arrives, it becomes a nightmare. Since the owner is not there, she takes off her shoes right away and surveys the mansion. Malcolm is a local delivery guy who frequently visits. Shortly after, an old woman arrives, and Greta demonstrates where she removed her shoes, surprising her by revealing that they are no longer there. Mrs. Hillshire extends an invitation. Greta will meet her spouse. She also presents her to the youngster. She is meant to be watching him, but Mr. Hillshire and Mrs. Hillher appear grave. Because they are not young or attractive, Brahms rejected the numerous nannies who applied for the position, giving her a set of rigorous guidelines to adhere to. This includes speaking loudly and clearly while reading to Brahms, putting a mouse trap in the refrigerator, keeping the leftovers there, and kissing Brahms goodnight. The Bronx is timid and only moves when number 1 is around. Mrs. Hillshire informs Greta. What Greta sees makes her feel uneasy. For solitude, Mr. Hillshire shuts the door. Greta is informed by those two that Brahms likes her. To share her experience at the house, Greta gives her sister a call. Mrs. Hillshire, gray ears, who's upset. Since Brahms ransacked his room, it turns out, claiming to be traveling for vacation, leaving Greta by herself with bros. Once they depart, Greta starts to disobey the rules. Greta awakens, sitting in front of a painting in the middle of the night and hearing odd sounds. It's choking as it emerges from a wall. Examining it reveals that the ceiling is leaking, which makes it a nightmare. Greta unexpectedly receives a call that evening, but when she answers, nobody answers. Malcolm explains to her that Brahms was the sole child of Mr. and was once a genuine boy. Additionally, Mrs. Hillshire's home caught fire, and Brahms passed away after failing to make his escape in time. Greta accepts Malcolm's invitation to go on a date that evening. When Greta notices Brahms observing her, she shuts the door. She is shocked to see, though, that her clothing and necklace are gone, and her hair has been chopped. As she ascends the ladder, the attic ladder abruptly shuts off on its own. Malcolm doesn't hear Greta's cries for assistance while she is confined inside. Then, when Greta looks about for another escape route, a massive shadow materializes in front of her face. Greta is startled when she awakens in the morning and is inexplicably released. He says that there are 2 rumors concerning Brahms, but that some people believe the boy was bad. It turns out that the ladder can close and open on its own. Cole is the object of Greta's intense hatred. She miscarried after Cole beat her as she was brushing her teeth. She hears there was an odd sound coming from both Brahms and his chamber. Although the room appears to be quite disorganized, with numerous pieces of paper strewn all over it, the head abruptly moves on its own, but this is only another nightmare. When Greta enters Brahms' chamber, she discovers that Brahms has moved. After being startled, Greta dashes to her room and tries to phone her sister. Greta takes the call. A child's voice can be heard instructing Greta to abide by the rule. Greta discovers that the doll has a lot more mysteries than she initially thought. After that, Greta answers the door to discover a platter of sandwiches that Brahms has handed her. As it happens, Brahms has no intention of harming her. She then informs Malcolm about it over the phone. Your current state is intolerable to us. You can have the girl now. Both Mr. and Mrs. Hill stuffed rocks inside their coats and killed themselves after writing this letter. Then, the beard of a helpless young child who needs attention begins to show kindness toward Brahms and carry out the tasks assigned to her. That evening, he also invites Thread to go for a walk. Greta and Now, however, decline Malcolm's offer since they feel accountable for Brahms. Greta is then taken aback by Brahms' initial ability to move around alone. Since the doll only moves while number 1 is looking, she is unable to demonstrate it. Malcolm ultimately comes to believe her, and that evening, he spends time with Greta. However, Brahms, who may be jealous, interrupts their activities. As a child, Brahms used to play with another girl, Emily, who went to play with him in the heel transparent mansion and never came back, so Malcolm knows that Greta is growing connected to him. Suddenly a police officer shows up. Reached the mansion to inquire about it was already on fire. Little lad. And Brahms was subsequently discovered dead, and it lives inside the doll. Would evil be necessary for Greta's safety? Malcolm remains close by. Greta wants the doll to help her realize that Brahms at night used rat blood for it. When she attempts to explain it to him, he doesn't believe her, and in a fit of rage, he destroys the doll. At this point, the house's lights begin to flicker. Cole tries to determine the source of the noise by closing the mirror. A man who turns out to be the actual one appears behind the call. Malcolm and Greta are terrified and flee when the adult Brahms, now dressed in a porcelain mask that is exactly like the doll's face, appears. There, they discover a doll constructed from the room's missing Greta dress. Brahms discovers them threatening to kill him after Gross has been observing Greta the entire time and disclosing their intention to abandon Greta in order to get Brahms. If Greta departs, Greta manages to get out of the house, but she comes back to save Malcolm, who requests a kiss goodnight. She stabs him with a rescue dog named Malcolm as he tries to kiss her, and they flee the house. It appears like Brahms is still alive because he can be seen reassembling the doll's parts.